What the heck is this?
是街头 CT 骗局，摆个大缸和一个推车。
And what the heck is this? Just how many scams are there in China? Well, aside from the obvious government propaganda, I took that question to the Chinese internet to find out, and the answer might just shock you.
今天给大家揭露一个新型诈骗啊！今天刚收到的一个申通快递的这样的中奖，你看，淘宝弄开以后就是这有一个活动领取，刮开以后啊，这二维码先挡着，100%中奖，你看52，对应的这个是支付宝18元红包，36也有，经典纯牛奶一箱，对吧？16赠格力对开冰箱一台。然后就是扫这个二维码，他还不让你用 WiFi 扫，大家千万不要扫啊，扫你的钱就没了。
They're taking it to the next level, literally mailing you a Taobao scratch voucher, and then if you scan the QR code, it can take your money. Obviously, this doesn't come from Taobao or any of the Chinese e-commerce sites. And the reason it works is because many users in China have their bank account or payment information attached, linked to their phone. And usually it's connected via something called a WeChat Pay or Alipay, or that it's accessible to them in the forms of like Venmo. So scanning it lets them withdraw money from your account directly. And this is a scam on the street. Someone leaves a broken jade bracelet, a sign reading recycling old watches, and a cigarette. Once you touch it, someone will jump out and claiming that you just broke their expensive jade bracelet and they're going to ask you to pay it back. A similar one to this is actually finding a gold bracelet on the ground. Again, if you try to pick it up, someone will come out and say that, claiming that you took it from them and asked you to pay it back. And another similar one to this is a wallet on the street. It has a lot of cash in it. People will come and claim that since you found it, or that they found it first, they're going to ask you to split the money. There's variations forms of this. They might ask you to go somewhere remote, and then they try to extort you, or they try to just somehow basically get you to pay them to get this wallet full of cash. Now, these are typical street scams, like a fake monk or nun gifting you fortune cards, but once you take it into your hand, they're going to start asking you to pay. This one is a fake wedding candy scam, so they come into the stores and they drop off a handful of candy, claiming that it's because it's a custom in China to give out candy after there's a newlywed or after a wedding. It's a form of wedding gift. Then they will ask you to give them some money as their child was born early, and obviously they claim it's a customs in their hometown, etc. Different ways. This one is fake mysterious box scam. You basically buy a bunch of stuff. All of them are low quality goods or inferior brands at a discounted price, but yet you're not getting anything. And this one is a fake dewormer scam. Essentially, they rub some special stick on your forehead and it's covered in tiny worms, and they claim that we just got this out of you because of a special tonic or special medicine that they have. This one is a fake pine nut scam. Turns out you buy a bag full of these pine nuts, you open the shells, they're all empty. And this one is a fake rock honeycomb scam. What they claim is a health boost honey special thing. It's actually just made of sugar and food coloring, and they turn it into a rock shape as if it's some special form of a honeycomb that's stuck in a rock. There's also other scams like the fake self-shell turtles. This person holding it on a stick, claiming that they found this 100 or 1,000-year-old turtle when they're excavating in the construction site, and people can buy it, take it home, cook it, or turn it into wine or something. It's great for their health. In reality, it's just a farm-raised turtle. There's also things like fake Iberico pork. Might just be some other black pork breeds that doesn't taste as good, or you can't really eat it. This is a QR code scam. There's very different versions of this. They give out free water bottles, some give out food or other things. They try to get you to sign up for an app, as if this is a very legitimate promotion that they're doing just in cities and in different streets. And you download it, you will either get your information stolen, or they're going to brick your phone, or something happens to it. And one of my favorite is actually the eternal chess match scam. What they do is, a lot of people are in on this, right? They get a group of people who are, playing chess, Chinese chess. It's very common in China. You see this in different parks, mostly old people. People are super into this. So the people who are trying to scam you, they're essentially playing Chinese chess, and this match that they've created, it's impossible to solve. But they do it in a way the people who are in on the scam will actually win some money in the beginning, and when you try to play it, it's never going to work.
骗子会伪装成国家扶贫工作人员，专门找独居老人，说是国家拨了500，需要老人提供身份证件、扫脸认证等操作。
And for old people, there's some special scams. For example, this one. First, they hand out food like eggs, bread, or noodles, and then they try to get old people to buy the supplement or whatever promotional thing that they're selling.
18的锅，今天花500块钱买一个，买不买？买。到底买不买？买。
And a lot of people really are fooled by this. A similar one is setting up a clinic on the street. They get old people to come and do medical tests. You know, it's pretty cheap, right? Medical care for a lot of people in China is actually very expensive because they don't have this social security type of Medicare or Medicaid system. In reality, what they do is literally just playing computer-generated videos like 3D graphics and all of those things, claiming that this person has all sorts of health problems and they need special medicine, which they also happen to be selling. Now, there's other forms or various versions of this, right? Which there's the fake herbal medicine scam, the fake bone healing scam. This one, what they would do is demonstrate by taking a chicken and claiming that the vendor will break its legs, but then all they did was dislocate the joint. So when they applied this ointment or like potion or whatever the tonic thing that they put onto it, the chicken will magically be able to walk again and it's healed because all they did was put the joint back where it belongs. Or they put something like a mysterious tonic on you and claiming that it has all sorts of effects. You start to see red liquid coming out. You think it's blood coming out. It's not blood. It's just some sort of a ferrous or iron metal compound that to create this bloody look, right? To scam you into thinking that this thing is so magical. There's some other ones which I find actually more evil or sinister. The solar panel scam. So what they do is they fool rural area residents, usually farmers, into installing solar panels. It's going to save them electricity. All they have to do is these companies will get them to sign a rental agreement. A percentage of their earning will go to the solar panel company as sort of a $0 rent program or rent-to-own program. When they actually get it installed, it turns out these solar panels don't really do anything. And when they want to break the contract, there's a high fee to do so. And obviously, it's very expensive to do that, or they're even fooled into further taking out high interest loans on top of that. Essentially, it's to put them into debt. And when it comes to food, there's actually a lot of scams too. For example, fake boxes of crabs. They claim that it's cheap because they just did a delivery earlier today, and these are the leftover boxes. Turns out they're all inedible trash. These crabs aren't real. They're fake. There's a cake cutter scam. Now, this is usually, you'll see a cart vendor with a cart, a wooden board full of cakes, and they're pretty nice looking. But these cakes, usually they're sold by people from Xinjiang. It's a scam where they cut a piece of cake. Say you want a 6-ounce piece of cake, right? And they would say, okay, I'll try to cut it for you. But then when they go weigh it, it always turns out to weigh something like maybe a pound or like 2 pounds. And then you end up, instead of paying 30 yuan, you might pay like 100 or 300 yuan because it's price per pound or price per grams, right? Something like that. And while not all of these cake vendors are scammers, a lot of them do try to sell you that way. They essentially force you to buy more. And these are hefty cakes, by the way. They're not like fluffy cakes. They're like very packed, solid cakes with things like dried fruits, nuts on them, very sugary and very starchy, right? So you're not like getting a fluffy cake. You're getting a solid piece of cake. And so this method for them is to sell more cakes, force you to pay. Sometimes, if you are in on a scammy one, they might have people around you to try to come and pressure you into buying it. Otherwise, they say, you're ruining our business, that type of thing. But I think the biggest scam in China right now for the general public is the real estate. So I keep seeing on Chinese social media and even on X or Twitter of Chinese CCP shells, Chinese propagandists claiming this idea that in China there's a 90% home ownership. The idea that 90% of Chinese people, which is billion, right, of people, a billion people, that they all own homes. It sounds pretty legit, sounds pretty good. Everybody's got a home to live in. They own it as if they are the real owners of the property. I'll actually do a separate video on this, but for today, I just want to quickly dispel that claim. Here's a compilation of videos I found.
大家好，我是河南汝州烂回路业主。老百姓买套房子，你感觉可容易？那正儿八经一辈子的积蓄，恁说跑路都跑路了，钱恁挣了了，叫老百姓搁这承担后果嘞。
00年985本硕夫妻回烟台工作，以为上岸了，结果掏空父母钱包快200万，买的房子烂尾了。
对面一家3口好温馨，为什么我不听老婆劝？当初买了这个烂尾楼，夜里真的想扇自己耳刮。生活还是要继续。
这个大爷多大岁数呢？你住这边？这房子都已经烂了快10年了，你这房贷一直还着走。
还这一点不还咋办？不还也花咱钱也花钱的嘛，这边1岁时候，儿子1岁时候就买的没钱，然后切切留着几还钱。
瞧这一副随时要跑路的样子，保安大叔可真敬业。电梯房没有电梯，只有电梯井；公共道路没有一块好砖，还要小心随时掉下水道的风险。标识标牌相当齐全，这个消防栓我也不知道算不算合格。
看不住在外面住上房，我生不下去了。
These people all have something in common. The home that they own is a rotten tail home. Essentially what happens is the tail end of the building construction wasn't done, so you don't have things like working water, elevator, electricity, etc. But they paid for the house, and because it's nowhere near done after the pre-sale, the government also isn't doing anything. So technically, yes, they're homeowners because the bank is asking them to pay a monthly mortgage, but they don't actually get to live in that home. So individual lawsuits have happened over the years to try to, get people to get compensation for this or get their down payment back. But on the broader scale, this rotten tail building situation means that even if these people don't technically live in their house, they're still home owners. So there's a huge caveat to that percentage of home ownership. And also in China, you don't really own your home. The developers rent the land out from the local government. And so if anytime they want to take the money back, or take the house back, destroy your property to build a new one, they don't really need to seek your permission. And so this idea of China having a massive home ownership, it's to fool Westerners into believing that that's something real. But in China, there's a lot of videos actually of people who cannot afford homes, and yet they live in major cities because home prices was once very high. But now the other problem is because the Chinese economy is so bad and people have lost confidence in the government, they're not buying homes. So you're going to see home ownership actually decline or if they do own a home right now, there's a huge amount of resentment for owning that home, which in these videos they talk about. So thank you so much for watching this episode on the scams in China. There's a lot, and there's a lot more. So if you are watching this on China Insider, please go and subscribe to our new channel, David's on China, and I'll put the link in the description as well as on screen here. And also our secondary channel, David Zhang 360, where we're going to post things that's outside of the China sphere. Definitely check out our new channels, and I'll put the links in the description and on screen as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.